So I'm not going to go over every trade for this day, which is actually yesterday when I'm making this video, because I made so many trades and I traded all day long and it did not go well at all. Very disappointed in myself because I was so close. I've gotten here before and there's something I think psychologically that is like there's only like just a little bit left to go, and so I tend to do stupid stuff because I think, well, this one last trade might actually do the trick. I don't know what's playing in my head, but anyway, unfortunately, I blew the account practically today. So we'll go over the first few trades and then talk about what happened. All right, so the channel here, we're still hanging around at the bottom of this channel here. Still haven't found a lot of momentum. There's just a lot of stuff that's unsaid right now. There was a Fed meeting that got postponed. There's still a lot of iffiness about trade agreements with China. There's all kinds of things that are going on in the market right now that have not been settled. So it's kind of flat, honestly, pretty flat. All right, the RSI has kind of settled in the average area right through here. And the MACD looks like it's maybe going up, but is starting to lose momentum a little bit. And as we turn into the 1 hour chart, the smaller time frames, you can kind of see sitting at the top here, I was thinking that it was going to be turning over and dropping. That was kind of my thought for the day. Dropping and making, another down leg, kind of like it's been doing. Because it's kind of hit a ceiling right through here. It's broken a little bit right there. But it kind of looked like it was heading down. All right. 30-minute looks like it's fighting the drop. Yeah, see the MACD is starting to turn out there a little bit. All right. And this is the value area trading, which is kind of acting as a support right through here. So it's got to break through that in order to drop any further. All right. And you can see that. And it's also sitting at an SMA. You can see the SMAs up here, the yellow and red ones, which are the 20 and the 50, are kind of interacting with each other and getting closer and closer to the 180 day. And now they're actually all together right there. So when that happens, usually when it breaks through, it goes down very quickly. But sometimes it does bounce. So there is that possibility. Okay, futures point to gains at the open is what Trading Economics has predicted. All right, and when I went back to the charts after writing all that down here, this is the first thing that I saw, and it just went right up there. So thought that was kind of interesting. So my first trade was actually a long, in spite of everything that I just said, just because I was seeing on the shorter term charts here, this is the 5-minute, the MACD here is, not the MACD, excuse me, the SMA is definitely still heading up, and the two SMAs here are kind of bouncing off of that. So I thought this would make a pretty decent sized trade, and so I got into it. Well, I tried to, but I think I missed it. I missed that movement, and so it ended up going right up to where I thought it was going to go, right there. And so it was very sad because I missed that. All right, so I thought, okay, well, I think that's where it's going to go. I think it may be dropping now. So, and even if it drops just a little bit down to this area right here, that would still be a good enough trade to trade on. So I have a pretty tight stop right through here and my limit order. So let's pay attention to the dollar amounts that I've got it on. 76.27 was where I wanted it to go. That is maybe too tight of a stop. And the reason that I was playing it so careful was because I didn't want to lose any ground here, which is a good thought, but sometimes that comes back to burn you too. Maybe that's what happened. But I did get stopped out, and then it started to drop. So let's just quickly go through the next bunch of slides here. let's see, so after it, let me go back to that last slide. So this is at 9 o'clock. 5-minute chart. Okay, so 1-minute chart. Okay, so it did not drop down to where I thought it was going to go, and then it bounced up some more. So that trade would not have done well. All right, so this is another trade that I got into, and I'm still trying to go short. I still think it's going to drop, and I have a $200 stop this time, and it got stopped out again. So now I have lost some ground, and at this point, it's still, I haven't lost so much that I'm, not able to trade anymore. It's just like $300 loss. So it's unfortunate, but it's not horrible yet. All right, so it went all the way up to the peak that it made over here. And I thought, well, I still think it's going to be dropping. So I got into I placed an order. You haven't actually executed it yet. The stop is just above that peak. And if it does drop, I think it could easily get down to this point here. Okay, so here I'm in, and it's looking good. This is the 5-minute chart. I did end up getting stopped out of that. But let's see if it actually dropped down to that point. So that would be 76.20. Still pretty high. And it's dropping. And I was hoping still that it would get down to this point, and it just kept bouncing up and just stopping me out. And so I was kind of questioning myself. It's like maybe going short is just not the way to play today. I mean, that first news article was predicting that it was looking up. So I thought, well, I don't usually put a lot of stock in those. I like to do my own studying. So I decided, well, okay, if I'm going to go long, let's see what that would look like. And unfortunately, we had a great big candle here. This is 1 minute after the opening bell, and I've got a really big stop here. Now I've lost about $500, it looks like, and I'm hoping for the same amount. So this is a 1-to-1 ratio trade, and it did end up going up just a little bit. And I raised the stop to $100 profit, and it got stopped out, but at least that was a profitable thing. All right. Okay, this is the 5-minute chart again, and I went out a little bit further, and I found the last peaks before this one, and I marked them. So there's this one, and then there's that one. So those would be two spots that I think might be places where it would find resistance. All right, and we're waiting for a drop. I'm waiting for it to drop down to here, which is a good trade, I think, and get in there. We have a $212 stop and a huge profit if it does get all the way up to that point again. And there's a lot of momentum, so, I mean, anything's possible, I guess. But instead of dropping, it went up to that point and then started to drop. So I thought, okay, I think that we're going to ride this short down. So we got into a short here, which is very risky because I would say that the trend, at least the one that's kind of developing, is up. It's not a strong trend going up, but it is going up. So getting into a short in the opposite trend is a little bit risky for sure. So as soon as it dropped down, and this wick happened very quickly, I dropped the stop to break even, and then I tried to lock in $100 profit, but I couldn't move my stop. I don't know what happened there, but anyway, I got out at break even instead of a small profit, which is unfortunate because that did drop down a little bit before it started to bounce up. Okay, now it's broken through that dotted line, and I'm seeing that it's probably going to keep heading up. So I wanted to get in at a good place, and I kind of missed it because I was in that stupid short, which is another reason you don't want to trade against the trend, is because you can't act quick enough when the market turns. So anyway, the limit order, I want to get in down here. I could have here if I had acted quick enough, but I didn't. And honestly, I'm not sure that I would have felt comfortable getting in after a big red candle like that, because it hadn't quite bounced off of this point, and That's way above the 50 SMA here. So I don't know, but it did find support right through here. So anyway, I think that's probably a decent place to get in. And here, I kept thinking, no, I think writing it down, I'll just keep writing the different legs. So I did another short here, pretty tight stop, only $112. And I've gotten back some of that now. So I've gotten, I think back into a $300 loss instead of the $500. So I am kind of gaining ground just a little bit. So that was a little bit encouraging. It's actually interesting to go back to see this because I'd forgotten that. All right, so here I am in a short, and I put the stop here right at the peak, and you can see the other dotted line right up here. And I think it's going to drop down somewhere in here. These are the kind of last peaks right through here. I was trying to be really conservative because I know I'm trading against the trend. Put it right there. So that would be a really good trade. And you can kind of see on the DOM over here, usually my trades are all on the screen here, but my trades are so big that they are off the screen. So that means that there's a lot of money at risk here on the table. So, all right, got into a short, and I got stopped out at a small loss because I was being super careful. I had actually lowered that stop down because I was not sure, and then it dropped. So, and then I got into another stop, got a short, and then got stopped out. Okay, so that we're going to call the bounce. And so I got into a long here, and not that great of a place, but my stop is like way down here. And it's looking really good, except that I didn't get in somehow. What happened? Okay, stopped out at a small loss. How did I do that one? Got into a long here. I think I was just being ultra careful right here. I think that's what happened. Whew. Yeah, I don't know. I think I got scared that it wasn't going to break through that resistance level and then do the original movement of dropping like I thought. But I would have been just fine. Oh, that's sad. All right, so let's try this again. Get in down here and ride it up. We're waiting and waiting, and it just keeps going up and up. So then I drew this Fibonacci line in there, and it was really interesting because the Fibonacci line actually looked like the resistance level and the support level that this last little point of indecision was going through, and the one before it, which is really interesting to me. So I think this Fibonacci line could be really helpful. So I'm kind of watching that, and if that's the case, the next movement is going to be super big. But it was hard for me to admit that that would be the case. I couldn't accept that. That doesn't happen very often. And the other thing was, I guess we have kind of broken past that last peak, but anyway, this is the 1 minute chart again. I was concerned with the loss of momentum that I was seeing right through here. And since the opening bell, it's been going up, but the momentum has dropped. So I decided to do a short again, and this is the 1 minute chart. So I think it'll get down to this SMA here, and it practically did. So I got out at a small profit. That was awesome. So now I've gotten back all but, let's see, I think I was at 460. So I've gotten back all but, well, I'm at a $400 loss, thereabouts. So haven't really gained any ground, haven't lost any. And at this point, I would say this is not going super well, and it's already like 10:18, and I was really disappointed that I hadn't done anything. And the loss here is tolerable. That is not bad. I should have just stopped right there. But I had a lot of time still in my day and didn't have a lot to do, so I decided to just keep trying. And so I think I placed an order here, and the take profit order executed, so I would say that was probably a profitable trade there. But it looks like maybe I lost a little bit. I don't know. And in a short here, and this is the 5 minute chart, and then it went up again, which I could have kind of predicted that. This is acting as a support level, so that was not a very good trade. That was really not a good trade. And I kept thinking that it would probably get to this point and then find resistance and drop. So that's why I raised my stop up extra high, which was really painful. And as soon as it went up like that, I thought, oh, shoot, I'm going to get stopped out. I know I am, and I did. So lost on that one, and I shouldn't have done that. This is the 5-minute chart. All right, so back to longs here. I thought maybe this kind of a trade would be good. It might drop back down, and I can catch it there, and then I'll ride it up to the next dotted line there. But it never dropped down, and it just kept going up and up and up and up. And I knew that it was going to get to this dotted line here. So I thought, well, if I get in right here, that's a really small trade, but at least it's something. And of course, at that point, it started to drop again, because that's really not a good place to get into a trade. So I quickly switched gears and got into a short, and then got stopped at break even. All right, so now I'm thinking, all right, this is showing signs of it stopping, losing momentum. Didn't surprise me that it was here, and I've often seen a big leg up like that in the mornings, drop right back down and lose all of its gains. And this is that kind of a day where pretty much, it's flat for the day. So I thought, okay, well, going short's probably not all bad. So I got into a short here, and you can see it's right here. And this is basically, I think I've covered everything here, but they're worried about a wave of corporate earnings and all this kind of stuff going on. All right, but instead of dropping, it went on up to the dotted line, and I got stopped out. So, and it kind of blew through that dotted line there too. So I thought, okay, I think we are still going up. So I got into a long here, and if you look at the kind of the pattern, that would kind of be like a peak right through here. It's not a good place to get into a long. So here I'm definitely losing my ability to think clearly, I think, in my desperation. And now I've lost over $1,000 at this point here. So it's just little by little I've been whittling away, and it's just not good. I mean, that was only half an hour ago that I was only at a $400 loss. So since then I've lost $600 more. It's shocking how fast that can happen. But anyway, I'm getting into a long here, and so far so good. Another long, I guess. All right, my stop is like 1 tick, like no risk on the table. And anyway, got stopped out. No surprise there. So I'm at a loss for the day of over $1,000. And thought, well, shoot, I can't leave it on the table like that. I'm going to keep trading, because that's the thing to do, right? And okay, so this looks like it might be dropping. So I got into a short, got stopped out, and then it drops down. So I wasn't wrong. It just, again, trading against the trend, you're going to have to deal with a lot of stuff going the wrong way, which is really not the best of ideas. Okay, this here is a short. This should be a long. This should be a long. Why did I do a short? All right, I could have told you that. All right, I'm in a short, and it is dropping. Okay, all right, well, I'm in a short, and it's looking good. No risk on the table here. I think I got out at a like $100 profit. And again, even the dropping part is not super fast, and so it kind of hesitates, and then I freak out, and then I raise up my limit and don't wait for the whole movement, which is not all bad. That's usually the way I trade, but it's unfortunate because the movements here are kind of small, honestly. I mean, the zigzaggies are, there's not much space between them, so if you only catch a small portion of that, you're talking about like $100 per trade. So anyway, all right, still think it's going to drop. Got a pretty tight stop, and this is the 5-minute chart, so this is kind of where I think it's going to head to. It's looking good. 15-minute chart actually is starting to show a loss of momentum. Everything looks like it's going to be dropping. I think we're going to be good. So got into a short, and you can see I'm actually in a profitable position here, but not a very big one. And I decided not to take that whole big movement, which was all the way down here. I wanted to get out, at a better place, raise the possibility of it getting executed but gets a smaller dollar amount. And it did. Yay! I finally got a profit. So that was the encouragement that I needed to keep trading. All right, so now I've gotten back to $1,000 loss. And it looks like it's broken through that resistance level. So I thought, oh, I think it's going to be dropping some more. Got into a short, and it went up. And it's like, stop here. And I think it's going to hit resistance there and start dropping again. And then it broke through it. And I thought, oh, shoot. So I lowered that stop, and it's pretty small, but it's still unfortunate. It's going to be a little over $100 loss, and it got stopped out. So again, I'm just not gaining any ground. Now I've lost even more. So, all right. So now I think, okay, well, I think it's recovering now. So I'm getting into a long. And I think the MACD looks like it's really starting to lose momentum. I'm concerned because now we're really overextended, way over our SMAs here, like on the 15-minute chart. I'm expecting like it to lose all of its gains for the day. I just see the possibility of it dropping. So I keep doing shorts here, and then here it just went flat for a very long time, and then it started to go up again, and I got out at break even, and then it started to drop, so I got into another short, broke through resistance level here. This is the 5-minute chart, so I think it could get back down to there again, but it's fighting it with everything it's got. So I'm going to short again, and I'm in a profitable position right here, so that's something anyway. I think I lowered this stop and got a small profit, but somehow I'm out of this trade again, so I think I got a small profit there, but I haven't really gained any grounds. I'd lose some, and then I'd make some, and then I'd lose the same amount on the next trade. So it's like I'm not gaining any ground here. Okay. All right. This is a really, really risky setup because my stop is super high. It's ridiculously high. You can see I'm already at a $200 loss here. So this is more like a $450 loss. And the stop is just about as high as I'd ever want to put it. It's just above this last peak. But I'm kind of thinking, well, shoot, the only way to really get back any of the losses for the day is by just going big. This is the dangerous thing. This is not good. So my limit order is way down here. And here's another chart, kind of investor confidence. It got all this stuff going on. All right, it's looking all right. Looks like I got back to break even. Looks like it's dropping, going flat, then it bounced again. It's hitting that spot where I got in, acting as a support level, which is really frustrating. And then it's starting to shoot up. Now this one was a killer because, man, I really didn't think I was going to get stopped out. And you can see I raised up my stop even a little bit further. And this right here is at a $437 loss. But you can see also that it's at this peak. So the likelihood of it finding resistance there and starting to drop is pretty good. So I raised up that stop to there and thought, no, I just can't do it. I can't do it. So I lowered it down again and got stopped out. And you can see it's going right up to that point. And then beyond, there's that point again. And you can see it actually went up to that point and then found kind of a support area there. Or resistance, I don't know, a little bit higher. All right, so that was extremely painful. So now I've lost 1,900 for the day. Good job.